Ain't no half-stepping with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank you, of course, for still being with us as we kind of move towards our What the Hell segment here. We talked a whole lot in the show about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all of that other kind of stuff, but we are, in fact, the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio, and we would be remiss if we did not get into some socially conscious stuff as we do every single week. So you, of course, heard him in the first segment earlier on tonight, and I appreciate him for rejoining the show, my brother, partner, and friend. What it do, K-Dub?
What's good, family? What's going on with you, man?
Chilling, brother. Chilling, man. It's good to hear you back with us here, and we gonna just go back and forth like E-Dub and Parrish, like Run and D, you know what I mean? Like Big Boy and your man Andre. It's just gonna be the two of us back and forth. You think you can rock with that?
Let's find out. Let's do it and see what we get.
Let's do it and see what we did. All right. Well, we don't really have a lot of shows unless we include the gift that keeps on giving, and that would be the current person occupying the Oval Office in the White House, President Donald Trump. Now, there's a lot of different places that we can go. A lot of places we can go. But where I want to start is what he declared last week, as if he's the one who actually gets to make this declaration, that the capital of Israel is, in fact, Jerusalem. Now, here's my initial thought on it, and I want your thought on it as well. We'll build on this for just a few minutes as we go through a couple of these topics. But from my understanding, the United States has always been tasked with trying to keep the peace around the world, particularly as it relates to Israel. Would you agree with that so far?
I would say so. Yeah, we try to be the police officer of the world, I guess you would say.
Okay, I'm having a little trouble hearing you, so if you can maybe speak a little bit louder for me, I appreciate it.
My bad. My apology.
Yeah. So the fact that he has chosen to, and other presidents, he said, have done this as well in this video, other presidents trying to do this, but just in the grand scale, he's done it in a more official capacity. Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, when you know that the Palestinians lay claim on that land as well as Holy Land on both sides. What's your thoughts, man? That's a little sticky to me.
Well, my thought is this. One, he's going against basically what a number of his predecessors have done in regards to Israel and, making the capital Jerusalem, so on and so forth. I'm not really sure. I haven't really figured out or heard exactly what the game plan is. And when I say that, I say it as if, granted, he may come out with a opinion, a statement or something like that. You always have to use your third eye and third ear to see what the long goal is. And I'm not really sure about what the long goal is. But, just taking a step back, it's kind of bugged out because you have 44.9 make this particular statement in regards to Jerusalem being recognized as the capital, so on and so forth. But there are other nations that are actually, not happy with that. So that makes me wonder, why exactly are they not happy with what he has said? What is the long-term goal? How is this affecting other countries that are around Israel? It just, I haven't really grasped the whole thing about him making that particular statement, but there is something else that's coming from that. But, I'm one of the same people that's always asking, why is it that Israel holds so much of a stronghold in that part of the world as well as just across the world? Why is it that the United States has to be the big brother for Israel? Why is it that we give millions and millions of dollars to this particular country, without having any type of, them stating exactly what they're using this money for? It isn't like we were a part of the whole, Holocaust or anything like that. So I'm still, bugging out, why is it that Israel has so much of a stronghold in the world as well as just in that particular region of the country? And, you have a number of people here in the United States that want to tout, the whole religious aspect of it, but I would ask the particular people that do that, the Jews that are spoken about in the Bible are not the Jews that are in that particular not in that particular part of the world. The people that are spoken about in the book are not even the people that are there currently. So how do you make that particular connection? But that's neither here nor there.
No, I actually agree with you, and I'll take it a step further. We didn't do nothing to Israel. All we did was pair up with England to create what today's world knows as Israel. It sometimes strikes me as odd how we really, really hold them down more so than any other country in the world. And maybe it's just I'm not world savvy enough, but I can't figure out the why. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can make it out to be about money. We can make it about to be strategic positioning in the Middle East. And I don't mean that with no shade. Like, anytime somebody says something that may not be 100% positive towards Israel, they automatically get tagged with the anti-Semitic phrase. And we know in this country that's kind of the worst thing, other than being called a racist, that you can actually be called. I got no shade towards that country. What my shade is the way that country was created, the fact that it was created because it's supposedly biblical, but we know the people there are not people from the Bible. Some would argue that black people are those lost tribes, but that's a whole nother discussion. But we know the Palestinians were there. So why not try to keep with the peace as opposed to laying down the gauntlet and saying, you know what, this is the capital of Israel. Palestinian people, sorry, but you don't have no claim on this holy city anymore. That to me just was not something that was wise.
Yeah. And again, going back to something that I said, I really do not understand the relationship between the United States and Israel to the point where we're taking care of them. We have, I could probably list a number of different things that we could address here in the United States in regards to just the monetary aspect of it, but yet we're giving millions and millions of dollars to a country that realistically does not need it. And then, I could be wrong, but for some reason I remember hearing this. Netanyahu, he's from here, the United States, if I'm not mistaken, or he may have went to school or grown up here in the United States. And is that something foreign to your ears that you may have heard or come across before?
I've not heard that before, but I mean, that's not something that's difficult to research as we sit here and we build on this conversation. I'll look and try to see if I can find any information on that. How interesting would that be? You know what I'm saying? I don't know that it would matter.
Yeah, it just wouldn't surprise me because of just,
a quick
really.
Google search says that he was. A quick Google search says that he was born in Tel Aviv. So
Tel Aviv. Okay.
Yeah, which is in Israel. So
yeah. I apologize.
But I'm looking to see if he's got any direct ties to the United States. Which, if he does, that might be where you actually heard that information from. But again, as far as the whole thing with that land, I mean, the United States gives them a whole bunch of money at the beginning of the year every year, and there's no accounting as to where those funds go to. And I'd like to know. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you changing the tax code here in the United States, so my taxes are going to be different. So if my taxes are different, I think that I deserve the right to know where the money is going around the world. And if you're sending it to an ally, okay, it's an ally. But you're sending it to an ally who doesn't have to tell you what it's all about. Huh?
And they don't need it. They don't need it. I mean, let's just be honest with you. Does Israel need our influx of money on a yearly basis?
I don't know. That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe they do.
Yeah, well, maybe they don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at what particular point you got to stop being that dude to give out give out your money all the time, and you have your home, you have different things here in the United States that you have to take care of. You got people, if things go certain ways, you got people that are going to be kicked off of their insurance. You have I mean, every time you hear about anything being cut, education is the first one off the rip. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We talk about the United States being it's the greatest country in the world, but if you look at statistics, we're failing in all types of education parameters, from math to English, so on and so forth. Again, I'm just a dude in Georgia that has his own views. I could be wrong, just like I was wrong about Bibi Netanyahu. And the reason why I brought that up, I just found out he actually graduated from MIT in Massachusetts, as well as.
There's your tie right there. So you wasn't completely wrong. You knew that he had an American tie. There it is.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I don't know everything about everything, but I know that we give Israel uber amounts of cash on a yearly basis. They don't have to state exactly how that money is being used or what have you, but yet we have shortfalls here in the United States.
Right. You know how step on Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. You're talking to K-Dub and Marcus J, just kind of going back and forth on a couple of topics, couple of issues. Made us say, what the hell, Dub? Pick up here. You got one that you wanted to talk to us about?
Yeah, man. Me being in the South, the big hubbub right now is your boy, wasn't it Roy Moore in Alabama?
We talking about him? Okay.
Yeah. Well, just for those that don't know, he's running for I believe a Senate seat, or he's running for a seat, and there has been a number of different allegations that have come out in regards to his improper engagement with some younger women. Let's put it that way. And you're getting a number of people that obviously are not running with dude, you know what I'm saying, and, feeling as though that he's a pedophile, so on and so forth. But then you have a good cluster of people that are going right along their party lines and saying, well, he's not that bad of a guy. And they're, campaigning for this guy, like you've already stated, 44.9 has actually put out a robocall, so on and so forth, to support this guy. He's running against Doug Jones, Democrat, there in Alabama. And something that just kind of struck me, and I'm going to put some of the blame on the Democratic Party. And just full disclosure, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm an independent thinker. But I think the Democrats are some dumbasses. Here's why. You have an individual that is a allegedly pedophile, right, in the state of Alabama. And they go and bring in, I want to say they brought in, what's our boy in New Jersey that was the mayor? I'm having a brain fart right now. They brought in Cory Booker, and then you brought in the senator from Massachusetts. I'll think his name shortly. Deval Patrick. They went to Alabama and they campaigned for this individual, which I don't have a problem with that. But my problem is, why would you bring in two individuals that are northerner guys that, you bring them to the South? I'm not sure how many people in Alabama are familiar with them. Why not go for the big guns if you really want to bring them in? Why not bring in President Obama? Why not even bring in Michelle? Why do you go? Why would you, in two individuals trying to get and I'm using air quotes, the black vote, and you bring in people that to the South, they're not as known? If you wanted to really get a boost for Doug Jones, my suggestion would have bring in Barack Obama, bring in Michelle Obama. You would have gotten a number of those people that may not have been so inclined to vote for Moore. They would have definitely came to a rally to see Obama. Either one of the Obamas. I just think that that's a dummy move. And even thinking about last week, they want to be the moral police, using the high ground. We're going to ask for the resignation of the senator. And again, I apologize to the family. I'm having a little bit of a brain fart. The senator from Saturday Night Live that resigned last week.
Franken.
Well, Frank, and you come in and you want to be the moral police and be the high ground, and hey, we're going to ask for his resignation. When on the other side, these guys are not playing fair. So, at what particular point, as a party, are you going to understand that? Look, playing fair is nice and it looks good or whatever like that, but you don't win at the end of the day. So you need to do different things. And now I'm not saying do something, immoral or anything like that. But come on. Come on. There's no way that you think that you're going to win by playing the nice guy all of the time. So what's your thing? What's your synopsis in regards to the whole Roy Moore situation?
Well, the fact that we even having a conversation, Doug, infuriates me because, the Republicans have figured out a way to control the narrative with regards to this whole sexual assault thing. And here's what I mean by that. Roy Moore has been accused of sexual assault on women. He's been accused of pedophilia. He's been banned from the mall and all of this kind of stuff. A lot of accusations. President of the United States, Donald Trump, has had very similar accusations and even has gone so far as to admit that he sexually assaults women by virtue of the statement, grab them by the pee. Now, you got a lot of people that say that's locker room talk, it's tongue-in-cheek and all of that kind of stuff. I've been knowing you for 40 years, and neither one of us have ever said anything close to that. We just don't talk that way. Grown men, we don't talk that way about women.
That's not locker room talk. Correct.
That's not locker room. That's not locker room talk. And if you Donald Trump, if you a dude that has all the kind of power that he has, then why do you have to say something like that to impress another dude? Like, you already Donald Trump. You don't even need to do that to try to impress another dude. But having said that, we're talking about a jurisdiction in Alabama where one guy has been banned from the mall because he's creepy, and the other guy prosecuted the Ku Klux Klan members that blew up the church that killed 4 little girls. And we having this conversation? We're having this conversation. We're having the conversation of which one of them is going to win.
Well, I got one that's going to blow your dome off. Friend of mine, she posted a interview earlier today, and they were interviewing some people from Alabama. And this one guy, basically, there were 2 people in this one snippet of the video, and basically both of them were saying, hey, it's not really that big of a deal. This guy said, well, 30 years ago, you could marry a 12-year-old, and my grandmother was, what did he say? She was 14 when she got married and had her first child at 16. 30 years ago was the 80s. All right, let's throw that out there first. Second of all, forget whether or not, my grandmother back in so-and-so, she was married at the age of 14. That ain't cool. Regardless of what you may think, it still ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? Everybody looks at, and I know I may be going sideways. Everybody looks at Elvis Presley as this big dude, and he was the king of rock and roll. Yeah, but Elvis Presley was dating an old girl when she was 16 years old. All right, nobody brings that up. I don't care that it was cool back in the day. It was still wrong. It's still not something that you can hang your hat on. You know what I'm saying? Who goes to somebody and be like, yeah, I met my wife when she was 12 and we got married at 16. What?
Yeah.
Word?
Yeah.
But this dude got kicked out of a mall, not just for one occurrence, not for 2 occurrences, multiple occurrences.
Banned.
Why would you? If it was so accepted back in that particular time, why did you get banned from a mall?
It blows my mind that these people have taken partisan politics above basic morality. Now, you'll have some folks that'll say nothing has been proven. All right, let's just say, for example, nothing has been proven. Let's pay attention to see how some other folks have been treated. How was Bill Cosby treated? Nothing was proven. How was Al Franken been treated? He done been asked to resign from his U.S. Senate seat, which, I mean, we can argue whether that's the right thing to do or not, but his Democratic colleagues are all for it. I heard Cory Booker out his own mouth say that that's something that should happen. But this dude, by most accounts, may end up being a United States senator. And as soon as he takes his Senate seat, they will begin their investigation. Really, why even elect him? You know what I'm saying? Like, why even elect him? But that's what they're gonna do.
Well, if he gets elected,
to
be honest with you, it's going to happen. I believe it's going to happen. It just puts the onus on these, and I'm going to say it, really could care less. If you got a problem with me, you know how to get in touch with me. It's going to come down to these country-ass bumpkins in Alabama actually accepting the fact that the dude is a pedophile, but because of the fact that he's a Republican and he's on Donald Trump's side, they're going to go with that. That's just basically what it is. It's the same people that voted for Trump, and then time down the line, they figured out, oh, shit. It's not really going to be for me. So you know what? If you are from that area and you voted for this dude, your word doesn't really have any type of weight to it. And guess what? You know what's going to happen when he does sit in that seat? I guarantee you won't find too many people that actually say, "Yeah, I voted for him," because at that particular point you're going to be considered a scumbag and a piece of you know what.
And see, now here's where we're going to disagree. Here's where we're going to disagree, because Donald Trump got people that still running around talking about how they rock with him, and he got 19 or 20 allegations of women who said that he did a lot of the same stuff that Roy Moore is being accused of. And now he out on the trail.
Have you ever read some of the stuff have you ever read some of the stuff that the people that are accusing Donald Trump of what he's I mean, foul,
forcibly kissing them, you know, putting his hands up their pants and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I read some of that stuff. Yeah. Now, if I was accused of that kind of stuff, we'd be locked up somewhere. This dude actually ended up being the president of the United States, and this dude might end up being a senator.
Let me ask you a question. United States senator. You think Barack Hussein Obama could have gotten into any type of senator seat with that type of allegation?
I mean, obviously we know not. But see, when you're having this debate and this conversation with people, you know, they're going to play the devil's advocate and tell you how divisive Barack Hussein Obama was. You know what I mean? Now, they'll also tell you it's your own perspective that will determine how you feel about that, which I do somewhat agree with that. But I can't imagine how any rational person could look at Barack Hussein Obama, just look at his bio, and find something offensive in his bio. You didn't like how he was as a president. Deal with that. You didn't like how you felt that he was an apologist for the United States. Deal with that. But you ain't never heard nobody with no scandals with this man, who clearly loved his lady and his family. You know, you got all of these people that will call him anti-American. And anytime you giving the business to Donald Trump, they always want to bring up Barack Obama. I didn't even bring him up. I could, but I didn't. Let's talk about your boy.
Well, here's one, and I would preface and put this directly to whomever was the person that voted for Roy Moore. If you're a lady, how about if you were the one that he did that to when you was 14 years old? And if you're a guy, let's find out whether or not how you would have felt if that was your daughter. And I guarantee it changes. Even though it'll change their particular perspective, because there's no way that I could see that any guy who has a daughter, that he would be cool with a grown-ass man making approaches to his daughter. I can't see any woman. Listen, dog, you can't, not today. No woman could honestly say that they would have been cool. I think even in the video that I was referring to, a lady said that, and I'm paraphrasing it some way, she said that, wow, it would probably be looked at as being cool that the attorney general or whatever whatever the hell he is, that he would be hitting on someone. A lady said that. But it'd be funny if, let's say, the lady's daughter was the one that was being approached by what was he, like 36 years old? Or something like that, something to that point. It's just terribly nasty and just disgusting.
Yeah. Now here's the piece about Roy Moore that we haven't talked about. How he talked about how America was great before, and he referenced back in slavery times. You remember that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that quote this week?
Yes. I heard it, but here's the thing. It goes right along with the mantra of let's make America great again. Because guess what? He made that. Well, when the hell was it great? I'm still waiting on that answer. But here's the thing. It goes with that same mantra because it went back to, well, America was great when, and they may make a particular statement, keeping in mind, you have to understand something. The people that sitting there talking about let's make America great again, more times than not, more times than not, they are of a different persuasion of black and brown people. More times. I'm not saying all the time. So those individuals, and again, I live in the South, so those individuals don't know what it is to be a black person in America, and you can't look eye to eye to a black person, or a white person. You can't be on the same side as the street as that particular person. You didn't have to worry about which bathroom or which water fountain that you had to deal with. So in their eyes, yeah, America was cool. But if you ask someone that was black or brown, or someone that was Indian, or even back when what was it, the war, whatever like that, ask an Asian person that was in the internment camps in California.
Let me get the specific stuff here so that we can address the specific stuff. At a campaign rally earlier this year, an audience member asked Moore for his opinion on when the last time America was great, and Moore responded, "I think it was great at the time when families were united. Even though we had slavery, they cared for one another. Our families were strong. Our country had direction." The individual who asked the question was among the few black people in attendance at the rally, according to the the LA Times. But beyond his views on slavery and allegations of sexual misconduct, Moore also has referred to Native Americans as reds and yellows, has questioned former President Barack Obama's place of birth, which of course is following Donald Trump's example, and once suggested that Muslims should not be allowed to serve in Congress. In spite of all of this, he may end up being the senator coming out of Alabama. To that, you say
I wonder what he would say to Keith Ellison.
I wonder
what he would say to Keith Ellison. How about that? You know what I'm saying? In a one-on-one sit-down, are you as funky as you really think you are? Because what I find is that, and I have this on my job or whatever like that, I find that when you hit people with facts and you're able to back up your particular statement, they tend to crumble. That's like the whole thing about white supremacists or whatever like that. They want to yell, "We hate N-words, but ain't no N-words around." Like they not on Prince Street in Newark, or they're not on Jackson Avenue in Jersey City, or they're not on Auburn Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, talking that we hate black people and we need.
They not in Churchill here in Richmond.
Right. So it would be very interesting to see if Roy Moore actually was to say that in front of, let's say, the CBC or Keith Ellison on a one-on-one basis. I can guarantee you that would not happen. But here's the thing. He's only speaking to the people that believe that anyway.
Right.
So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? What do I expect? What do I expect?
I mean, he's playing to his base. He's playing to his base, but when the President of the United States endorses a man with that kind of baggage, I mean, the sexual assault allegations is bad enough. That's bad enough. Mm-hmm. But the other stuff, you mean to tell me America was great? I mean, we had slavery, but that wasn't that big of a deal. Are you serious right now? This is the dude that y'all going to have as a senator, and a lot of it has to do with the vote. It's the vote. They want to have that vote so that they can do what they want with the majority.
Yes, you hit it right on the head. That is exactly what it is. And I mean, this is the same dude that I believe at a rally he pulled out a little pistol on his.
Yeah, he pulled a pistol out. Yeah. That was actually the first time I saw Roy Moore, because that was before all of the sexual assault stuff started coming up. Because I remember looking at the dude with the cowboy hat and the pistol, thinking this dude crazy. You know what I'm saying? I thought at the time, I said, this dude is crazy. I mean, if I only knew how crazy he really was at that moment. Man,
he ain't freaking crazy. He should have plaxicoed himself, and then we would have really seen what was really possible. But you know what? You want to? I got another one for you. Let's push over to the next state over. The boy, Tito was in, what was it, Mississippi, I believe? In regards to your president.
Oh, okay.
I believe he was to pop up at the opening of a civil rights museum, whom a number of black dignitaries, one of them being John Lewis, he decided not to show up. Democratic Party, once again, dum-dums. Why would you invite someone that could give a damn about civil rights? I mean, this is the same man. Check this out. This is the same man that denigrated peaceful protests, but yet he's going to a building that honors people that may have protested peacefully. Who was the genius to invite him?
Hell if I know. Hell if I know. I mean, I on the one hand, as the President of the United States, I have a hard time. I mean, the President of the United States, they're going to invite him, no matter who he is, even if you don't like him. You know what I'm saying? Now you got a lot of people that's throwing shade on the dignitaries, the civil rights icons, who have decided that they ain't going. That's where I got a problem. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have no problem inviting him. He's the President of the United States. Whether you like him or not, he's the President of the United States. Where I have a problem is the shade towards the people that said, well, if y'all invite him, then I ain't going to be here. I ain't going to be here. How you want to throw shade on him? Because the reality is, the man's history shows that regardless of what he says at that podium, he's not a person who is a champion for black and brown people. He's just not. And we don't necessarily need him to be a champion. We just need him to not be an impediment. Just don't be an impediment. Don't be the dude that's having people not renting apartments in the buildings that you own. Don't be the guy who, seeing that we have a civil rights issue going on in the National Football League, attack all of those players. You know what I mean? Like, don't be the guy that's doing stuff that obviously has racial tones to it, but then when somebody call you out on it, you got the dumb face on. Because a lot of y'all that's listening that like to troll but don't say nothing, but I know y'all listening because y'all inbox me. That's what y'all do. That's what you do. You got all of this to say about how sensitive we are. You know, I want to change the subject, but like this little kid, I don't know if you saw this, and we're going to come back to this for a minute, but let me say this while it's in my head. This little kid that's getting bullied, right? Viral video, saw it this morning, felt bad when I seen it. Little kid getting video, he's got like a cleft chin and it's got some disfigurement on his face. But he's still a cute kid. And he's crying because he's being bullied because people is picking on him. And that's foul. You don't do that to people. I've been picked on. I know it don't feel good. But then you come to find out as the day progresses and we start paying attention, why his mother is a proponent for the Confederate flag and telling people just quit being butthurt and she ain't no fan of black people and all this stuff. And all of this stuff. So the hypocrisy.
Sometimes the energy that you put out there comes back to you, to bite you in the ass.
And this time it came back and bit her in the ass through her child, which I feel bad for the kid because he don't deserve that. He's learning from a racist mama and goes to school and gets picked on, but he goes to school on the back of a pickup truck that's waving a Confederate flag, not understanding that that flag is a bullying symbol to a whole bunch of people in our country. Now, I took over and I went on a little bit of a tangent. My apologies. Go back to Mississippi.
It all fits. It all fits because, you know what I'm saying, I don't know where little homie is from or whatever like that, but the way that the pictures that I saw, he ain't that far away from you know, those particular areas or what have you. You know, I mean, it's just sad that because of the election of Barack Obama back in 2008, that this has given people more of a ticket for them to express their ignorance and their you know, just sheer blatant racism at times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You have Donald Trump because of Barack Obama, not because of Barack Obama, but in spite of, because there were so many people feeling as though that they were losing the country. So they had to pick the person that they felt as though that was speaking for them. But this dude right here, you know, depending on the day of the week or the week of the month or whatever, he'll tell you something that's 180 degrees different from that, and will try to rock with that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't, and it's not
Here's the
something
part
that
that I
I'm
don't
going to
understand.
understand.
Here's what I don't understand. Why do I continue to find myself in discussions about Donald Trump that end up about Barack Obama when Donald Trump has count them, two people in his camp that have been found guilty of lying to the feds about relationships with Russia? Two. 19 women accuse him of sexual assault. He still gets elected. Nobody bats an eye. He publicly endorses a dude who's accused of the same stuff. Donald Trump.
Right.
Donald Trump. Like, for real. I mean, I'm no longer
country
interested in entertaining conversations with anybody who, when you lay those facts out in front of them, skip over them and want to talk about anything else. No. What about Jeff Sessions, who's supposedly a real smart dude? He made it to the Attorney General of the United States of America, but he can't remember shit when he being grilled. And when we having a conversation about it, you want to talk to me about Hillary Clinton? I don't want to talk about Hillary Clinton. I want to talk about how Jeff Sessions can't recall shit. Let's talk about that.
This is the country that unfortunately we live in. There's no other way to really. There's going to be questions. There's a number of different questions that we are not going to have the answer to because this is the country that we live in. I mean, you got to document that these people, and when I say these people, okay, you know what I mean. These people that they live and die by this particular document, but no people of color were involved in the writing of it, as well as there were no women that were involved in the writing of it. Don't you think that it might need to be amended or updated? Nah, that's okay.
Of course.
That's okay. We want to go with this right here. When they talked about guns, they were talking about muskets. They weren't talking about AK-47s. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's okay. We're not gonna. Then when you hit them with facts, you gotta move the goalposts. So, what I would say to a number of people is just make sure that you're factually accurate, whatever it is that you're saying, and you stick by those facts. And when you're debating or having a conversation with someone and they want to deter and move a little bit away from it, you make sure you stay on message and you make sure that you let them know that you ain't the one to be messed with. Because not only am I going to hit you with facts, but I'm going to hit you with the sternness to make you understand that this is what real people go through on a day-to-day basis. It pisses me off, especially being in the South with some of the things that I see and I hear. And all it is just basically taking us backwards in regards to the progression that we have made. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just...
And I'm not one to incite violence, but you might get hit in the mouth, too, like, for real. Because some of these people get real frisky with Donald Trump being the president, and they coming out of their mouths, and they coming out with violence, and they coming out with disrespect in ways that we just haven't seen. You know what I'm saying? We just haven't seen. There's a meme going on like, I'm not my grandmother. I'll knock you out. You can get these hands. I'm not a violent person. I ain't had a fight since the 10th grade, and I'm not throwing punches on nobody. I'm just not about that life, unless I have to be. If I have to be, there's going to be no stop, and I'm fearful because of the kind of job that I work in, the places that I am in, and the fact that I'm in these rural areas and sometimes in Southeast Virginia and other places, that I'm waiting for somebody to come the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? And put me in a position where I have no choice but to defend myself. Because I've seen these situations. We see them every day. We see them all the time. These people are becoming emboldened by this administration in a way that we just quite frankly have not seen before. And it's a scary prospect. It really is, because I just don't know if there's any change that's going to come, because the reality is I think that America has changed to the point where there is no coming back. We reached a point of no return with regards to the meanness and the uncaring and quite frankly, the tough guy behind the computer syndrome. You know what I'm saying? And that's scary. It's sad and it's scary.
Yeah, it's sad and scary, but you know what? I have to remind myself, I have to put you on to an interview that my wife and I saw maybe about a couple of weeks ago, right? The reason why I bring this up is that I want to make everyone aware of. There was an interview that my wife and I saw on Netflix, and Reggie Yates. The guy's name is Reggie Yates. He's a British reporter that she and I saw, and he did a couple of interviews. But one of the interviews that kind of struck me was in Africa, and I want to say it was Johannesburg. And we watched the interview. And to be honest with you, it was like watching 2020, but basically on the European version of it. He was in Africa, and he was talking about how through affirmative action, basically all of the black people are your 1%ers, and the white people, I won't even say that they're like at the bottom of the barrel. And the reason I bring that up is it struck me right at the end of that particular interview that America, and I'll say the non-black and brown people, they don't want what's going on in Africa right now. I would implore everyone to pull it up on Netflix. Again, the guy's name is Reggie Yates. He's a British reporter, and he does a number of different interviews. And I'm telling you, it's outstanding. It'll give you a different perspective in regards to what we hear and what we see here in the United States, and actually see what's going on in other countries. But the first thing that I thought about was that this is why a number of white Americans fight so hard to keep their position, because they don't want to lose and become basically what they have kind of instituted on us for years and years and years and years and years. They're scared, and you might have heard that we're going to get them back for all of the stuff that has been done to us over the years. So, take a look at that video. Again, I implore, his name is Reggie Yates. Check it out, and you'll understand exactly what I'm getting at. And outside of, us just coming together and turning this Mickey Ficky over, I'm not sure that, they're going to really get it. They're not going to understand, some of the things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I don't know, man. I'm rambling. It's a little bit of frustration as well, but where do we go from here as a country? Where do we go from here as a people, Hello? Still there? Marcus J? Well,
I feel like I lost you. My bad. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
I lost you for a quick second. My apologies. I lost you for a quick second. Now, I wonder where we go from here as a people, as a country. It's scary, but at the same time, I think we would be remiss if we stop talking about it. You stop talking about it, you're never going to be able to fix any of the problems that we have. And that's what we do here on the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. It's called 8.5-7 with Marcus J. All right. We're going to take this break. Dub, any final words before I let you go, bro?
You know what? I do have some final words, man, real quick. A couple of weeks ago, I lost a real good friend of mine from grammar school. We graduated grammar school together, wound up going to high school together, and actually lived down here in Georgia. Same age. And when I tell you that it was one of the hardest things I had to do with going back to New Jersey and burying a childhood friend, it is an excruciating thing. So what I would say to everybody, I know you've heard me say it in the past, man, if you got an opportunity to tell somebody that you love them, tell them that you love them, whether it be friend, whether it be family. If you are beefing with somebody and at the end of the day you take a step back and find out what you're beefing about is petty, man, be that person to pick up the phone and call them and be like, you know what, that's my bad. We shouldn't even be like this, and talk it out. Trust me, man, trust me. It will do so much more for yourself and maybe even for that other individual. There's a lot of people that's walking around here that's not talking to a family member or talking to a friend over something that's petty, over just somebody just doesn't want to be the one to look weak-minded and be the first one to call and say, I'm sorry. F that. Say, I'm sorry. Mend those relationships with your family and friends, because the hardest thing you want to do is to feel like you want to apologize for something, and then you get that call at 3 in the morning telling you that person is no longer here. So I say all of that to say, enjoy and embrace your family, your friends, and the relationships that you have with different people, because you never know. You never know. You never know.
You never know. You never know. Shout out to you. Shout out to Bias,
exactly.
man. Much love to him and his family. Word.
Exactly. So that's what
ain't no half stepping. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Dub, always a pleasure. Help me out with a big bulk of the show tonight, and always a pleasure having you on the show with your home, man. We're gonna take our final break of the night. We come back. I'm gonna rant. I'm gonna close Missing Child History Moment. Marcus J, K Dub, the crew, and you. Be back in a few. Y'all stay with us.